Napheesa Collier absolutely hooked Angel Reese's ass last night. 8 of 13, 61.5%, 26 points in 25 minutes and 53 seconds.
Angel Reese preseason part 2. Let's get it. What they say about layups, harder than nuclear physics. Bang! She's a point forward now, and nobody's more excited than opposing defenses. Time for the vintage underhand scoopity shot from 3 feet. Yep, there it is. Bang!
Imagine building your entire reputation on grabbing rebounds and double-doubles, then watching helplessly as an opposing player completely takes that away from you. That's exactly what happened to Angel Reese when she faced Napheesa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx. Reese, who talks a big game on social media, couldn't back it up on the court. While Collier effortlessly scored 26 points in under 26 minutes, Reese managed just 10 points and 3 rebounds. The contrast was shocking, showing how a true MVP candidate plays versus someone who might just be padding stats for Instagram highlights. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Angel Reese fans are going to be happy because she's playing away from the rim, a long way away from the rim, and those rebound numbers and those double-doubles are about to take a back seat. So guess what? Padding the stats is not going to work out.
You know what everyone's talking about with Angel Reese? Her rebounding. That's her whole thing. When you think Angel Reese, you think double-doubles and grabbing boards. But what happens when someone takes that away? We just saw the answer, and it wasn't pretty for Reese. Napheesa Collier came into this game with a plan. Not just any plan, a perfect blueprint to shut down everything Reese does well. From the opening tip, you could see it. Collier positioned herself exactly where Reese wanted to be every single time. It wasn't complicated. It was just basketball fundamentals executed by someone who understands the game at an elite level. The Lynx defense completely erased Reese from the game. Remember how she averaged nearly 14 rebounds per game in college? Against Collier and the Lynx, she grabbed just 3 rebounds in 25 minutes. That's not a typo. 3 rebounds for someone whose entire reputation is built on dominating the glass. Collier didn't just win the matchup, she deleted Reese's biggest strength from the equation. Watching the game, you see how Collier did it. Perfect positioning, perfect timing. Every time Reese tried to establish deep post position, Collier was there first. 3 times in the second quarter alone, Reese tried to set up shop near the basket. 3 times Collier completely denied the entry pass and forced her farther from the hoop. Look at how smart Collier played on defense. She knew exactly where Reese wanted to go before Reese even made her move. When Reese went left, Collier was already there. When she tried to spin right, Collier beat her to the spot. This wasn't just physical dominance. This was a chess match where Collier was thinking 3 moves ahead the entire game. The Sky's second quarter was absolutely brutal to watch. They shot 25% as a team, 25%. The Lynx defense, led by Collier, suffocated every offensive option the Sky tried to run. When Reese actually got the ball, help defenders swarmed her immediately, forcing awful shots or desperate passes that went nowhere. You could see the frustration building in Reese's body language as the game went on. She started forcing shots that had no chance. She was making decisions that looked nothing like the confident player we saw at LSU. When your entire game revolves around grabbing rebounds and getting putbacks, what do you do when someone takes that away? Reese had no answer. That's the biggest takeaway from this matchup. Collier exposed a major weakness in Reese's game that college opponents couldn't exploit. Without those rebounds and second chance points, Reese's offensive limitations become a serious problem. She doesn't have reliable post moves yet. Her jump shot is a work in progress. Her passing isn't elite. When she can't grab boards, she struggles to impact the game. This is the difference between college dominance and pro success. In college, Reese could rely on her physical advantages to overpower opponents. The WNBA is different. Everyone is strong, everyone is athletic. You need skill, basketball IQ, and the ability to adjust when opponents take away your first option. What we saw wasn't just one player having a bad game against another good player. We watched a veteran MVP candidate give a rookie a complete basketball lesson. Collier showed Reese that those impressive college stats don't automatically translate to the pros. The game is faster, the players are smarter, and the scouting is more detailed. The numbers don't lie. Collier put up 26 points in under 26 minutes while completely neutralizing Reese on the defensive end. That's efficiency. That's two-way impact. That's what a real superstar looks like. For Reese, this should be a wake-up call. The hype, the social media following, the trash talk, none of that matters when the ball goes up. What matters is having a complete game that can't be shut down by smart defenders. What matters is making your team better, not just filling up your own stat sheet. The real question is how Reese responds. Will she go back to the gym and develop counter moves for when opponents deny her rebounds? Will she work on her face-up game, her passing, her perimeter shooting, or will she just hope that not every opponent has a defender as smart and disciplined as Collier? This preseason matchup showed us the gap between a polished, complete player and someone still figuring out how to impact the game when plan A isn't working. It's not just that Collier outplayed Reese, she exposed exactly why Reese's game needs serious development to succeed at the highest level. Everyone keeps hearing that Angel Reese is driving WNBA viewership through the roof. She claims she's the reason women's basketball is getting so much attention. Her social media following is massive, with millions of followers watching her every move. But here's the question, is any of that actually true? When we look at real numbers, the story changes completely. Let's talk about the attendance at her games. You'd think someone with that much hype would pack arenas, right? Well, when Reese had her big homecoming game at LSU, only 6,300 people showed up. That's in a 13,000 seat arena, less than half full for someone who's supposed to be a superstar. That's not just disappointing, it's revealing. This wasn't some random Tuesday night game. This was her triumphant return to the campus where she won a national championship. The story gets even worse when you look at her Chicago Sky preseason game. Only 4,600 fans showed up. Think about that. Chicago is a major market with millions of people, and they couldn't even fill a small arena for her debut. All those Instagram followers didn't translate to actual bodies and seats. All those likes and comments didn't turn into ticket sales. That really makes you question what her social media fame is actually worth. Now compare that to Caitlin Clark. Her preseason game in Iowa sold out in 27 minutes. Not 27 days or 27 hours. 27 minutes. The difference is mind-blowing. People weren't just casually interested in seeing Clark play, they were desperately racing to buy tickets before they disappeared. That's what real drawing power looks like. That's the difference between social media fame and actual marketability. The TV numbers tell the same story. Clark's games are beating NBA preseason games on ESPN. When she faced Brazil in a preseason matchup, 1.3 million people tuned in. That's more viewers than 55 of the 57 NBA preseason games aired since 2010. NBA preseason games. Meanwhile, Reese's games aren't generating anything close to those numbers. The contrast couldn't be clearer. You know what's even more telling? The Chicago Sky just fired their coach Teresa Weatherspoon after just one season. Reports suggest individual stat chasing was prioritized over team success. Players were more focused on getting their own numbers than winning games. The result? A terrible 13-27 record and missing the playoffs completely. Some players got career-high stats, but the team was a disaster. Is that the culture Reese is walking into? Is that the mentality she brings? The truth is getting clearer by the day. Fans don't tune in for stat padding. They don't buy tickets to watch someone grab rebounds while their team loses. They want exciting basketball. They want team success. They want players who make everyone around them better. The gap between Reese's social media fame and her actual impact on attendance and viewership is massive. That preseason matchup against Collier might be exactly what Reese needed to see. Basketball isn't Instagram. The WNBA isn't college. You can't just dominate physically and expect to succeed. You need a complete game. You need to make your teammates better. You need to contribute to winning, not just your own stat line. This isn't about hating on Reese. It's about being honest about where she is as a player. The hype machine has been working overtime, but the results aren't matching up. The attendance numbers don't lie. The viewership figures don't lie. Something isn't adding up between her claimed importance to women's basketball and the actual interest in watching her play. For the WNBA to grow, it needs stars who drive real interest. It needs players who attract fans, not just social media followers. It needs exciting, winning basketball that people want to watch. Right now, the evidence suggests Reese isn't driving viewership the way she claims. Her social media following hasn't translated to actual game attendance. The upcoming season will be the real test. Will Reese adjust her game and focus on team success? Will she develop the skills she needs to impact winning at the pro level? Or will she continue chasing individual stats while players like Clark and Collier lead their teams to victories? The answers to these questions will determine whether Reese becomes a true WNBA star or just another social media personality who happens to play basketball. This preseason game wasn't just Collier outplaying Reese, it was reality outplaying the hype. It was the real business of basketball exposing the hollow nature of social media fame. And it might be exactly the wake-up call Reese needs if she wants to build a successful WNBA career. This preseason matchup showed us exactly what happens when Instagram fame meets real basketball. Collier completely exposed the holes in Reese's game. The stats don't lie. No amount of social media followers can help you when you're getting outplayed on the court. Reese needs to work on her total game. Rebounding isn't enough in the WNBA. She needs actual post moves, a jump shot, and better passing to survive. The upcoming season opener between the Sky and Fever is the real test. Will Reese adjust and focus on winning, or will she keep chasing stats while Clark's team-first approach leaves her in the dust? I can't wait to see.